Hello and welcome to an Everquest server patch notes update. February 7th, 2023, some new patch notes have been released, so we're going to go over these. I've kind of drilled down on some of the items. I didn't know what it actually meant, and we'll kind of go over everything there. All right, so added a prompt to the Shar-Vala stone in Plane of Knowledge to ask if the adventurer would like to go to the original Shar or the divided Shar. Now that is awesome. Getting to the divided version is quite a hustle, if you know what I mean, to get there. So that's kind of cool. I'm glad they added that. See, made several improvements to the extended target menu. See the miscellaneous this section for details. We'll get down to there in a minute. All right. Change the contract of the ancient Shisar to the contract of the painted Sporali. The associated mercenary changed as well. All right. So I believe that all that is changing it from a Shishar to a shroom model. I'm not 100% sure. I believe it's related to the extra life reward, because I know you got one of those contracts as a part of that. See, the coffee shop drinks are no longer marked as quest items inside of the new Shar-Vala. See, evolving cloaks of the Selene Lion now have the appropriate backstab stats. Now, I didn't know what this meant at first, so I went and looked it up. And here is what I found. In the Shadow Haven quest from Knights of Shadow, when one door closes, group mission, inside the chest you have a chance to get a Lucinate Cloak of the Selene Lion. I'm going to go with that, because in Elder Scrolls, that's Selene and then Lion, right? So I'm going to go with that. Maybe there's a better way to say it, but that's what it looks like to me. So this is a pretty nice evolving cloak. It's probably best in slot, honestly. Here's a better picture of it right here. So enduring tenacity, duration of spells by 126, decay on that. So this is pretty much best in slot, and it holds a type 18. So type 18, that goes into a whole different thing. This is like a rabbit hole, right? So here we go. Knights of Shadow augments, and so we have different augments you can find, whereas slot 18, evolving item augs, right? So you can get different things. And so what they did is they added the backstab stat to one of these, maybe the stealth one there, but in the main cloak itself, yeah, I don't see backstab on it at all. So overall, that's a nice change, and I didn't even know there was an evolving cloak. So we got we got work to do, guys. We got work to do. I gotta get Nomengarde this cloak. See here, Knight of Shadow items that grant alternate advancement abilities will now correctly grant the appropriate ability. And so like this cloak here, sometimes these items have a right click ability. The cloak does a damage shield, but some of the other ones you've seen in some of my videos where I do the heroic characters, you click them and you get like some AA unlock for like knowledge of power or whatever the other ones are. But those are just make sure they do the right ones. Oh, that's a good fix. Added a 10 level offset on level locked progression servers. So this is a Vaniki change for spell casts from items. So let's say you get an item. Let's use the Jaundice Bone Bracer. So that's a required level of, I think, 45, I believe, 45, 46. On Vaniki, you would be able to click that at 35 or 36. So that's pretty nice. Removed various references to the word dollar, as there are no dollars in Norath. Alright, fixed an issue with Molin's Divining Rod using Fire Spell instead of Ice Spell. So I'd never heard of this item. I googled it, and this is the item here. It comes from the the City of Tides, Serenith, and looks like it's dropped from this guy right here, Primal Mage Mullins. So if we open him up, he is a he's a water mob. He spawns in the water. He's a water guy, but his rod here, Strike of Flames. So that now, well, I guess will become a, let's call it Strike of Ice. So that's kind of cool. Keep an eye on the Charleville Divided Town Crier to have added Tribune newsletters coming in the months. All right, that'll be interesting to see what that is all about right there. All right, trade skills, added recipe for this song, War Song of the Bashir. Okay, so I guess that's a research spell that just didn't have a spell associated with it. Quests and events under Siege Mission Raid added a new message when someone is summoned by the Akivian for trying to avoid the fight. Also, they will be less tolerant to enemies trying to flee down the tunnel. Alright, I'm assuming there is a bug or exploit related to this mission and people are using that, and this is a counter to that. I haven't done any of the missions yet, so I'm not 100% sure. Mean Streets, the raid. Increased the time available to defeat Jaka's illusions. Fixed an issue that could lock Jaka's hit points if an illusion were defeated in the final stages. All right, good bug fixes there. Changed the minimum level on all Night of Shadow quests to 100. No idea what it was before, but that seems kind of low. Stuff in Night of Shadow are crazy high hit point mobs. Level 100 is just gonna get one shot. I almost got one shot at 120 on Nomregard. Increase the amount of tower keys dropped by Corfax and Tower of Discord raids and Seeds of Destruction by an additional 50%. More keys, more fun. That's what I say. More keys, more fun. Leaving an instance group will now prioritize keeping the group together over the zone population cap if the zone is a pick zone. So if you're in, like, I don't know, if you're in a instance like a mission and you leave it and you're in a group, you'll try to keep your group together and it'll go over the cap. So Beltron will no longer try to cast a Touch of Shadows and Icy Clutch at the same time. And I was like, who is Beltron? My Google came up with Frost Crypt number 2, the Shade King Beltron. He's right here. Pretty feisty guy. Never done this content here, but he has some pretty nice items for that level range and stuff like that. But that's what they're talking about, that guy. So I guess he tries to cast 2 spells at the exact same time, which would be pretty dangerous for the main tank. Let's see here. Carrion, my Wayward Sprout corrected an issue that prevented the Undead Essence Extractor from working as expected. So that is a Night of Shadow quest, I would assume. When attempting to initiate a raid, when at least one member already has a lockout from the raid leader can choose to enter anyway upon confirming the accepted lockouts will be applied. Okay. That's interesting. So if somebody already has a lockout, you can just continue with it instead of having to kick them out of the raid. Interesting. Fixed in several agent change instances in Planes of Power where mini bosses were giving numerous giving really long replay timers. An example is Grime, the Crypt Guardian in the Plane of Disease. So that's a good fix for those on TLP servers. Removed the Toramani's Blessing achievement as it was no longer obtainable. Now that is interesting. Let's look this one up. I didn't even see this before. Let's see here. Knows what I'm gonna show. Googling this thing. Let's go to Bonds. Bonds is a good guy. He's in the does a lot of stuff. All right, let's see if we can find that item here. Let's go here, copy that, Paste that, paste. There we go. Theory. This achievement has a bit of mystery as it appears to be the same achievement as below. Seals a mystery of the past. Perhaps this is one related to looting and clicking the raindrop versions of the Seal Master of All. Okay. So I guess it was, you know, something to do with this Seal Master of All, and they just removed it because it wasn't obtainable. I guess you could only obtain it back when it was current content. Spells. Corrected an issue where item procs that scale based on level were using the player's level instead of the item spell level. In general, this caused older items to do more damage than intended and newer items to do less damage than intended. That sounds like a good fix to me. Protection of the Primal Spirits description should now be more accurate. Okay, that sounds good to me too. AA Magician fixed an issue that prevented elemental conversion from reporting its damage. So I believe elemental conversion on the mage is the cannibalize like ability where it takes your health and gives you mana, and I don't think it was reporting that damage, which is good. All right, NPCs fixed some inconsistencies with shades being able to see undead properly. All right. Altered our collections, altered the text and lore on the Citadel Orchids collection item to the Citadel Orchids instead of the Cauldron Flowers. Okay, so this item had the description of that item. That makes sense now. All right, Overseer corrected the misspelling on the Dragon Necropolis for the Overseer collection item dispenser. Fixed the Overseer collection item dispenser to not allow COV collections to be claimed unless COV is unlocked. That's good to know. Progression servers added Zithuli of the Granite Claw back to randomized loot on randomized loot servers. So this is like mischief related. So I googled this one and it didn't really come up much. I came up with this guy right here, who's a raid encounter. So I'm not 100% sure what this thing is, or if it's a thing. I did find a reference to a familiar, this one right here. And so it might be this familiar that could, but it looks like it comes from the Legends of the Norath card thing. So I don't know 100% what that means. Or maybe they're just adding that raid boss to have randomized loot. So I don't know. I don't play on Mischief, so that'll be interesting to know. If somebody knows, please leave a comment. That'd be nice to know. Altered the release schedule of Cornif in anticipation of the server merge in July. All right. Cornov, not Cornif. Let's see here. Miscellaneous added future plan patch dates to the endgame calendar. These dates may change. Added a option to show names to the display first and guild names. Added options to X-Target to load and save a target set. Use X-Target to see details. Increase the max number of saved targets in the extended target from 10 to 30. Added a prompt to the Charval Stone to go to the new one. All right, that's perfect. We already read that up there. Added a percentage gain to raid experience messages. That seems like a joke almost, because you get like no experience in raids. Fixed an issue with the pop-up telling you at level 61 you got auto skill, but they made auto skill a level 1 thing instead of 61. All right, UI. Remove the social sharing button from the Cascade menu. Great. Corrected an issue where your UI would be locked out if you confirm the sale of a bag's contents after closing the merchant window. All right. Upgrade character button on the inventory is now disabled while a heroic upgrade is in progress. What I would like to see is how do I get rid of the upgrade button on a level 120 character? Like what is the exact criteria that I need to do to get rid of that button? Like, is there a certain list of things I have to flag and do? I don't know. I would love to know, because I have level 120 characters and level 85 characters that don't need it. They have their stuff. I don't know what I'm missing, but that would be lovely to know. the criteria for that. Updated the overseer window so that the agent area on the quest tab is always visible. That sounds good. I am gonna do a video on the overseer window and some usability things I have with it coming soon, but any changes to that window is fantastic. Added a message to the trade skill depot window when your items are being loaded. That'd be fantastic, because right now it looks like you have no idea what's going on when you click it and it's just a blank window. Fixed a crash that could occur when an invalid number of quests in the active list in your character's INI file are present. Okay. Withdrawing a single item from your trade skill depot, Dragon Hoard, or item overflow will now place that item on your cursor instead of directly in your inventory. That's kind of useful, I find. At times, there's been issues where I've been trying to get items out of my Dragon Hoard to put them in my trade skill depot and all that stuff. That's kind of cool. Attempting to delete a heroic character that was created on a heroic flag server such as Miracle will now give a warning that that hero character feature will not be refunded. So typically when you delete a heroic character that you've paid for, you get back the token to make a new heroic character. Miracle was a heroic start server where you started at 85, and that's, you know, you got a free heroic, and that's where you started. Remove the depreciated social sharing tab from the options window. Yay! When turning in a stack of items for a quest, you will now see fewer chat messages about it. That's great. When you turn in, 1,000 bone chips, you won't get spammed forever and ever. All right, updated the task overlays window, default lock status, transparency, and close button visibility. Perfection right there. And previously updated, this was a hotfix, I guess. Mean Streets mission, the Glimmering Illusion spell can now be removed as intended from Jarkar's illusions. All right, and with that, the EQ UI XML drag items options window, overseer window, share window, task overlay window, and the trade skill depot have all been updated, so that'll break a lot of UIs out there if you have anything custom. But there we go. That is the test server patch notes for this month, so February. So like always, if they do not change these patch notes significantly, I will not make a follow-up video. But if they do, I will do the diff, and we can go through it and see what they changed and whatnot. And awesome. So have a fantastic day, and thank you very much for watching.